Your favorite fat boys.
Man, what it's like, bitch.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite fat boy, Jarron.
Stefan, a.k.a. Mayhem, a.k.a. the ruiner of your childhood, a.k.a. the new mascot of the Disney Plus Saturday morning lineup.
And we have a guest with us today. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up? I am Ernest Zeb. I'm just here to bring in some nostalgia and a little bit of trouble to the room today.
I know that's right. So, what we gonna call this? Jarron with friends? Friends with Jarron? What kind of segment we gonna call this?
It's the podcast called Your Favorite Fat Boys Podcast.
Anyway, so I brought on an old childhood friend of mine, Zeb. We grew up together in the old neighborhood. And when I think about this episode, it was from Jason David Frank, the original Green Ranger, had passed away. And I started having all these memories about growing up with Power Rangers and the show, toys, and all these different things. And one memory came to my head was we were outside playing one day, and by the time the show came on, we stopped, went in the house, watched the show, came back outside, and just bragged about what episode and everything like that. And so I was like, I gotta bring him on so we can, have a discussion about all things, from cartoons, TV shows, and just different things that, the nostalgia of the 90s and all that. So here he is now.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You know I don't clap.
You are no fun.
I feel welcome anyway. I clap.
See, you are the distinguished guest here. You are the first guest we've had in 2022. So there you have it.
I feel welcome because it's the end of the year, so I'm probably the last guest you guys have had in 2022.
We got one more lined up. So, but
I'm the last guest.
All right, just go ahead and confirm that. We are not doing another show with another guest. Thank you.
But I'm thinking about, I guess, like not premiering this episode until January, kind of give us like something to go into the new year with.
The last guest of 2022 is what I am.
So, what you been up to the last few years? It's the first time we've seen each other in a long time.
Yes, like legit decades. Being busy, man. Being busy, my entrepreneurial exploits and everything. And then just, out here being social, being helpful.
Sounds like drug dealing.
Listen, I can't say anything on air right now. So.
The shirt says God is dope, so.
God is dope. What kind of dope we talking about? That's up for you to interpret. But yeah, out here with my entrepreneurial exploits and trying to help the community as much as possible. Do a lot at my church with the young people. And really just having fun as much as possible.
I know that's right.
2023 is not here and I already got 4 vacations planned.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Where you plan on going?
So I am doing Florida, I am doing Italy, and I'm doing Egypt.
Oh, okay.
And LA, like, as soon as my birthday comes. January 11th.
All right, that's what's up. Happy early birthday. Thank you for joining us. And so let's see, we'll get into it. So, like I said, we'll talk about our top 3 favorite cartoons. So you want like one of each?
Yeah, I mean, we can do, start from 3 and go to 1. But first, let's make a clarification. When we saying cartoons, are we talking American-made cartoons? Because in the 90s, I did watch a lot of anime.
You can, whatever floats your boat.
Okay, so that changes my list slightly.
Favorite means favorite.
Yeah. Because I was thinking about going like 80s and 90s, and I was like, nah, like whatever overall your top 3 are. Stefan, you go ahead and go first.
Well, I'll start with my number 3 is Ronin Warriors.
That's a good choice.
That's an excellent choice, actually.
That shaped my childhood and it really got me into anime. It was that and my number 2 one. But yeah, so Ronin Warriors is my number 3.
Okay.
Good choice.
I'm going to go with my number 3 is going to be Doug.
Nice. Good choice.
I just remember Doug just spoke to me. And in my young adolescence, he had a crush on a kind of cute, fleckless little girl. That's wrong.
Nobody. Don't go around telling nobody that.
He was like a stick of juicy fruit. But he was into it.
He loved her. His best friend was teal. Hey, I don't know why they made Skeeter teal when he was clearly black.
He was a brother.
Yeah. So, but it just was a show that. But I think what really got me into Doug was that my mom was telling me to write in a journal, and so I was like, I don't want to write in a journal. Like girls writing diaries and stuff like that.
Right. Right.
But then I saw that, I'm like, oh, well, if I guess it's okay for him to do it, I should be okay to do that as well. So that's what really got me to Doug. So
Doug and Moesha got you in the right journals. That's what's up.
Not Moesha.
I owe everything to Brandy.
Me too. Save your life, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear it. Happy to hear it. So my number 3 would be Animaniacs.
Okay.
I really love Animaniacs growing up, and it also gave us Pinky and the Brain.
Yes.
You know, a true, absolute 90s kid classic. So Animaniacs is my number 3.
Yeah, I don't think Pinky Brain gets enough credit. Like that, it was a very smart, funny show.
Really, Animaniacs as a whole had legit good writing that you don't actually appreciate until you get older.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was
definitely.
just silly, right? When you're a kid, you like just think it's funny. You get older, you're like, yo, that was actually kind of smart. Like, that was clever. You get the references they're making, like the 90s references. Like, they were making Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky jokes. like really inappropriate.
Yeah, they were, because, like, I remember it was probably one of the first cartoons that my parents would look at and laugh at. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
y'all know it was like cartoons, but they got some of the humor in there as well.
Yeah,
So
I think my favorite jokes from Animaniacs is that they were posing as detectives, and Yakko said, "We got to finger Prince," and they showed an image of Prince, and that was like, "No, I don't think we're doing that."
Like,
we got to get fingers.
Under the radar dirty joke ever from Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Animaniacs is definitely my number 3.
All right, number 2. Number 2 for me is Gargoyles.
Gargoyles.
Said
Shout out to Keith David.
always
Yes.
shout out to Keith David, the most prolific voice actor ever,
Absolutely.
from Goliath to Spawn.
I don't even want to talk if he's talking. Like, I just want to listen.
yeah, he's one of those voices. Like, I think a lot of people say like Morgan Freeman has one of those voices, like, well, the voice.
Yeah.
I think he's a very close second.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Underappreciated, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Gargoyles would definitely be my number 2 show from the 90s that I just enjoy.
They owed us more. They cut it short on Gargoyles.
They
Yeah,
did, because the second season was nothing but a retelling of every episode almost from the first season.
Yeah.
So I was like really heartbroken by that.
I mean, that was the thing with most of those cartoons, is that when they stopped selling toys, they stopped making enough money to produce episodes, so they just kind of kill it.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
It is sad. For sure.
Number 2.
I am so torn. I'm gonna go with my second favorite. Probably gonna be Dragon Ball Z. I think when did I start watching that? I think I was like right into Dragon Ball Z when it was coming on. I was like, okay, something different, a lot of action and everything, a lot of hollering and screaming. Didn't know why they were, but and the same culture and all that. But when it went from before it was WB, it was on that station for the longest time. Then it went to Cartoon Network. So then when Cartoon Network got it, they didn't have any new episodes out, so they kept showing the same ones over and over again.
Right. They sure did.
And then by my dad worked at a cable company, we had like the international channel, and I came across it on the Japanese channel, and I was watching it, but it was all straight Japanese.
Right.
No subtitles, so I didn't know what they were saying. But I saw the new stuff before it came to America.
Yeah.
So when it came back on America, I was really hyped. Then I was like, oh, that's what they're saying now? I had no idea what they were saying the whole time. Like, I watched like maybe like 2-3 months worth of episodes, and then they finally came back on. But yeah, I just remember just like coming home from high school. Yeah.
Chala head chala.
I remember coming from high school and just like staying glued to the TV just to watch that.
Yo, shout out to shows like Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon. That was like our introduction into quote unquote anime. It was like the weed of cartoons. It was the intro into a lot of anime for us in the 90s for sure.
Yeah, because it was just crazy, and they was getting it in. And then when you get old, when I got older and then see how much blood and violence actually was, like, oh, no wonder this was on in the afternoons, because it shouldn't be on, later or unedited, because it was like it was gory.
It was rough. I appreciate it. I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
Number 2.
So my number 2 would be Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold, man, was a brilliantly written show that showed like a kid with like an awkward environment, like one of the weirdest adults ever. I had the one foreign guy that was leeching off his girlfriend.
Oscar.
They had Porch Kid.
Yeah.
like the street kid that just was stuck on the street.
Kid.
Like constantly, and they had probably one of the best like written black characters in the 90s at the time.
He wasn't cliche. I was thinking about that because
Like Gerald?
Yeah, Gerald
Johansson, man.
He had a whole family.
He had a whole family.
And then I think up until that point, and maybe I don't want to get too far into that topic, but you didn't see a lot of, like, I guess, wholesomeness represented for us.
No, not at all.
So
Not at all. But definitely Hey Arnold, for sure.
Yeah, Hey Arnold was a great cartoon.
Also had one of the dopest like soundtracks ever, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're like bumper music. They're in between scene music, like legit jazz.
Yeah.
They had some actual grooves that you could put on a playlist.
Yeah, a lot of
Moving football head.
Yeah.
you know, and a lot of relatable characters too, because we all knew somebody that was like a stinky.
Yeah.
What was the fat kid name? Was that Harold? Might have been Harold.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot of different characters that
And he also had grade though, right? No one was just a stereotypical character.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't just a bully. He also kind of sensitive sometimes, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes he played with him. Sometimes he would terrorize them.
Yeah.
Even Helga, who like always gave Arnold the hardest time, was like totally in love with him behind closed doors.
Right. That's probably like we all can relate to somebody hating us.
She was creepily obsessed.
Yes. Absolutely.
She went way off the deep end of
Definitely so.
Yeah, she had,
Psycho.
she had a whole shrine.
Yeah.
What was the shrine made out of?
His like fingernails and hair follicles
And
that she
actual football, I
found.
believe. Like, actual football with some Arnold hairs.
I think
attached to it.
it's a
Fingernails and
football.
stuff.
She might have been in the voodoo. We never confirmed. I don't know.
I mean, that's too dark for a Nickelodeon show.
Is it though?
I mean, they did have Are You Afraid of Dark and Animorphs.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. It's possible.
So, yeah.
So,
All right, number one. Said my number one was extremely difficult just because of all of the shows that I watched, but I landed on Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, that was one of my picks. I'm glad I left it
my
out.
number one. Right there.
Say, man, there was a toss up between that, Spider-Man,
X-Men.
and X-Men.
That
Yeah,
was
but
my
I
number one. I was like, which one is it?
I landed on Batman just because of the fact that it had some of just the cleanest animation and some of the best stories. And even though it didn't have, you know, because I read the comic books, it didn't go as ultra violent as some of the comic books did, but it didn't pull a lot of punches for a show that first came on Fox and then later on WB.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I liked Batman a whole lot. It was really well acted. I don't think as a kid you appreciate the drama that went to their show.
You know, and R.I.P. Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man. R.I.P.
You see the side note. You see the trailer for what was that game? Kill Justice League.
I did.
Yeah, Suicide Squad kills
Yeah,
Justice League.
and he's voicing Batman, which I didn't know nothing about.
Mhm.
So I'm glad he got to do that. One last time.
Yeah. Fortunately, I'm glad they always got some work in the can, right? That's still yet to be released when some of these artists pass away.
Yeah, because kind of same like with Chadwick Boseman, he recorded.
The what if stuff.
Yeah, I thought it would be one and done. So to see him come back.
Yeah, like 4 episodes.
Yeah.
It was great.
Your number one is Batman. Let's see what mine's gonna be. I'm gonna go with Pokemon. And the reason why, not only was I obsessed with the cards, like I could not play the card game, but I like to collect them. And I might have the original 151.
Wow.
I might have all the original. I might be missing a few here and there, but I ain't that far off.
Yeah.
But I definitely took time and my parents' money.
Right about to say, let's clarify, sir.
So
Shout out to the manufacturer.
right. I was spending
My habits.
spending their money and collecting this assuming this mounting this collection of Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
I remember Pokemon's gonna be stick with me because of the fact that there's an episode where Pikachu and Ash get into it, and then he's like, "Well, if you want to leave, you can go ahead and go." And they beefing, and then Pikachu dips.
Yeah.
So Ash about to leave the town they in, and it's like, oh, they about to ready to separate. They about to go. They're separate ways.
Right.
And then, but Pikachu comes up the hill, and it's like, Pika, 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 Pika. And he's like, you want to come back with me? He's like, yeah. And they
Still all
hug.
choked up.
I cried. I ain't gonna hold you. I shed a whole tear.
Got me too, man. Yo, the love holds strong.
I was like on my way to school, and I'm just like, I'm unballing, but I need at least 2 Kleenexes if I got into class.
Yeah.
It was touch and shut up.
Man, Pokemon was a good show, though. That was a good show, and I definitely had inappropriate thoughts for several characters on that show as a young man growing up.
Yeah, Misty with them shorts, though.
Misty, man.
Oh, I was Jesse all day.
All day. Yeah, Pokemon.
Yeah, it's kind of got out of control now because, like, even watching it now, I'm like, why is there 1,001 or 1,010?
There's 1,000 Pokemon.
Yeah, now it's like, where did we go? Where did we get out of control here?
I mean, at a certain point, they just kind of ran out of ideas. One Pokemon is just a bag of trash.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm
Is that a real
serious.
thing?
That is a real Pokemon. He's just a
Wow.
bag of trash.
They do.
Wow.
Someone look really uninspired. I was watching one last night. I forgot his name, but he's carrying around a metal beam.
Okay. That's it.
He's swinging on niggas.
That's it.
That's it.
He's basically Sting in the 90s.
Exactly.
coming from the rack,
from the top.
He got a whole beam, a whole metal beam. I'm like, I'm just waiting for the nigga to come out with a gun or something at this point.
Man, it's probably coming.
There's another Pokemon that's just 2 ice cream cones.
Yeah.
they stopped.
It's gonna be Tyrone Bigger.
Yeah, they stopped giving a fuck.
Yeah. Got any more of them Pokemon?
Right, that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Don't let a black animator get up in there.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, your number one.
My number one now has to change because Stefan stole mine.
The joys are going first.
So yes, so I'm gonna have to go with my number two, my runner-up, X-Men. Man, X-Men.
Yes.
Brilliant. I'm excited for whatever reboot Disney Plus is coming out with. They better not mess it up. They better not.
It's not even a reboot; it's a continuation.
Well, continuation of that story, but another really good writing, good storytelling, great animation and everything. Another group of women I had inappropriate thoughts about. As a little kid.
Rogue get it. Storm
and Storm, yeah.
Rogue, Storm, the real Storm, not Halle Berry. That's right there. But X-Men was definitely on the top of all our lists of shows that took us seriously as consumers, gave us actual intelligent stories.
Right.
Because we read comic books, we was into actual good storytelling, and most cartoons just throwing us anything. And X-Men and Batman made a series. Spider-Man were actually giving us good stories. And Gargoyles, all great animations.
And some diversity as well. I don't think we're all realizing that they were touching on a lot of different subplots and
deep.
a lot of meaning to it.
It really was in a place of racism.
Yeah,
more than anything.
absolutely.
Well, that's what the X-Men was about in general, anyway.
Right. And Stan Lee's famous for telling that story about how Professor X and Magneto was like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. And that was the whole thought behind it. I'm like, yo, that's brilliant. And you learn that pretty early on in the X-Men animated series.
Right, because they had their differences, but it's for the good of their people.
Yeah.
They wanted they wanted every mutant to succeed and not be feared.
Yeah. And
but it don't help when Magneto.
Different approaches.
But it don't help when Magneto's hurling cars at people and stuff.
Yeah,
so
Magneto wasn't about that life. So.
Sometimes you gotta throw a car at a nigga to get your point across.
You got bust through the White House.
Right. Or you got a juggernaut going through your front lawn every other Tuesday.
Saying his name repeatedly. I'm the Juggernaut. It's hilarious.
Oh man. A lot of good memories there. A lot of good memories. And what's funny that you said that because I was thinking about how the best cartoons on Saturday morning will come on between 11:30.
Yeah, there's always a
everything else was a build up. You couldn't skip nothing back then.
They got the fluff out the way pretty early.
Yeah.
The first thing I would see in the morning was the Winnie the Pooh show.
Yeah.
That
something stupid like Mickey Mouse or something like that.
Right.
Well, the exception because I used to watch Sunday, and that's when 6 a.m. That's when Dragon Ball came on. I had to wake up to watch Dragon Ball.
Yeah, that's commitment.
Yeah, some shows you be like, what? The TV guy, you gotta wait for the TV guy to roll up.
Yeah.
And then if you turn and went back, you gotta wait for that thing to come back around again.
Old school cable was so stressful. Wait for that guy to scroll up to your channel. Don't blink.
I gotta say this there. My father still gets the TV guide in the mail. He demands he gets this TV guide in the mail.
I didn't know they were still making that.
Ever since COVID hit, it's been a delay.
For his father.
Thank you. He's the only one getting it. Since the COVID hit, a lot of mail was, slowed down and everything.
Yeah.
He will go to the mailbox 2 or 3 times a day or ask me, you see TV guide come? I'm like, nah, I didn't see it. But we have a whole TV guide built in the TV.
Yeah.
You can just go to what you want to go to. You can talk to it. It's all there.
You can actually talk to the remote these days.
He's like, no, I want to read it. It irks my soul. I love that old man to death, but it irks my soul that he'd rather be doing this than is to scroll it up and there's a show that you look for.
I get mad at my mother for still receiving paper bills. So I'm like, why are there envelopes in here? He still get the TV guy? I gotta go home and apologize to my mother now. I'm sorry, Ma. This could have been worse. I'm sorry.
Everything's perspective, right?
Yeah, she could still be in the JCPenney catalog. So I guess
phone book.
Oh.
Them things.
Could you imagine that somebody you mad nowadays? That'd be the worst. What'd you get hit with? A phone book?
Nah, I wouldn't even hit them with it. I just had them mailed to their house.
Yeah.
Yo, that's a lot of hate. You gotta take time to find a phone book to somebody. That's a new level of mad right there. I'm gonna find a phone book to hit you with somewhere.
Man, to hear that thud on the porch or hit the door when that new phone book came out, that was you thought somebody trying to break in.
Seriously, it was aggressive about that thing.
Oh boy, I do want to bring up something that I didn't put on the docket for a reason. Do you remember these shows? You know I'm gonna go with it. WMAC Masters.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So VR Troopers.
VR Troopers, the horrible Power Ranger ripoff.
No, that wasn't a horrible Power Ranger ripoff. Beetleborgs was the horrible Power
So we
Ranger
got so
ripoff.
I got a list here. I got a little list.
Beetleborgs was worse. In hindsight, VR Troopers was great in person to Beetleborgs.
VR Troopers was like Star Wars. I got a little list here. WMAC Masters,
Yep.
VR Troopers, Beetleborgs, Masked Rider, and last but not least, Tattoo Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills.
Oh.
The
What,
worst.
they had, like,
No,
five
no,
episodes?
you know, that was the worst Power
I
Rangers
was about to say,
ripoff.
what they had, like 5 episodes? Like, how many episodes did they have? That was so short lived.
It really was.
It was like on like
You
that.
ducking your bag for that one.
I was up till 1 last night looking at this stuff.
Beetleborgs and VR Troopers had some cultural relevance.
Yeah.
For the most culturally deplete show you could think of.
We gotta rank them real quick.
Oh, I mean, Tattoo Teenage zero.
Yeah, horrible long name show 0. 100% negative 5.
I don't know. I can't even think of the appeal to that show because I was looking at the opening last night and I was just like, got my man in the black character in a half sleeve, one sleeve.
They all had the tight onesies on the bodybuilders, and they always
Yeah.
flex.
I just
They
like
had the Andre the Giant singlet. Show. It was terrible.
I was looking at him and then I thought I thought it was based on zodiac signs. It's like two people are like zodiacs. They said Centaur and Apollo. I'm like, wait a minute, when you change the names?
Disappointment is what it was going on.
All the disappointment.
Just
And the fact that the thing to get them the tattoos, I didn't watch the episode because I would have been still watching it. It was something creepy, like slime or something like that.
Yeah,
like a
it's
goop.
like some goopy alien thing. It was
He
so
touched
bad.
them. He
Yeah.
touched them, and then that's how you got a tattoo. I'm like, that's how you got hepatitis.
yeah, some alien semen. I didn't like it. It was disgusting. Is what it was.
Yeah, it's a terrible goddamn
The
show.
whole show was.
So all right,
poorly
so
conceived.
Teenage Alien Fighters is what number 1
Negative
or
5.
0?
Yeah, I mean, just strip that off the list.
We can talk about that as the worst. That is the worst.
right. We can go up from there.
Okay, so I would say Masked Rider.
Now, I mean, Masked Rider kind of went hard.
I was about to say, it was things I liked about Masked Rider.
Yeah.
Right.
It was stuff I liked about VR Troopers. It came out early in the morning. I would watch it before I went to school. And I just was like, it was like a corny Power Ranger.
Yeah, I think it wasn't as expansive. Like it didn't like multiply as the time went on. It's just those 3 characters.
Yeah.
And they had a pretty linear mission.
Yeah.
They had to stop
But, yeah,
the evil
the world building
corporation.
was trash. 100%.
Yeah.
Like it was the very one-dimensional show.
Yeah.
It had one trick.
One fun
Expanded.
fact I saw last night going down a YouTube rabbit hole was that the lead actor for VR Troopers was supposed to be the White Ranger.
Really?
And Power Rangers, yeah. So they weren't going to bring Tommy back on at all.
Okay.
They were going to bring him in as the new White Ranger, but
So
because
was it that he was too popular, so they just brought him back?
it was such a demand for him to come back
Yeah.
that they ended it with him being the White Ranger, and then they casted him in VR Troopers.
Wow.
So that was an interesting fact to share. I like Beetleborgs a little better than VR Troopers. I think because
Because you're retarded.
your mama.
She very well could be if she likes Beetleborgs better than VR Troopers.
I think for me,
On the spectrum.
I think because the fact they had it seemed like they had more fun. Like VR Troopers was very more serious.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They never took themselves very seriously.
No, in Beetleborgs, no. In VR Troopers, there was a definitely under
All I gotta say is
Which one of them?
flabbergasted. That's all.
I'm about to say, which one of them had
That's
the
all I
big
gotta
yellow
say.
ribbon?
Flabbergasted.
the
That
Beetleborgs.
was Beetleborgs, right?
Flabbergasted. And that should tell you everything you need to know about Beetleborgs.
All right.
Thank you.
It was like definitely a Jay Leno Elvis ripoff. He's a
Absolutely.
ghost.
A little Liberace in there.
Yeah. It was-
100%.
Right. It's a very flamboyant, very
Yeah.
over the top, not funny.
A very, very spicy villain. For sure.
he was spicy.
Absolutely.
I know he probably said some appropriate things. We gotta go back and look at the reel.
I bet. Somebody got a supercut somewhere. There's a supercut somewhere. Flabbergasted saying very wildly inappropriate things, I'm sure.
Yeah, I can only see that. So VR Trio, so we are tattoo teenage alien fighters. I'm not gonna say all that.
Complete trash.
Beetleborgs, VR Troopers, Or is it VR Troopers then Masked Rider?
No, Masked Rider goes a little higher.
I probably Masked Rider at the top of that list.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, because it has to be better than WMAC Masters. As much as I love that show,
Yo, I love it.
It's so terrible.
It was an attempt at live action Mortal Kombat.
You right.
Before Mortal Kombat came live action.
the Machine.
Hakeem the Machine. Like, in all
Superstar.
Of that. Yo. I want to watch it right now. Like, I really want to
I will show.
No, you don't.
I will show you the opening when we are done.
Yo, because
No, you don't.
Because that Empower Dome were two of the like funniest, corniest shows of all time.
Yeah.
Right? Like just WMA. Yo, I was looking forward to the WMA Masters for a while though.
I was too. Like it was. I don't know. And I was like and I didn't find out till last night what WMAC stood for. World Martial Arts.
Did you learn it?
Yeah, it was a C. Coalition, I think. World Martial Arts Coalition, something like that. It's something. But I gotta look it up. But I was like, oh, that's what that meant. I didn't know what that meant for the longest time. But
I never knew. I knew I was very invested.
Council, World Martial Arts Council.
I was very invested in the black man winning the belt. Was basically like what I was cheering for.
Yeah, because it was Panther and Hakeem the Machine.
Panther wound up being in the Matrix, right?
Was he?
It's like one of those.
I believe so. And Hakeem the Machine was in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
He was the one that Sonya Blade killed.
Yeah, I remember that.
But Panther wound up being in the first Matrix.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, they were all stunt people.
Yeah, they were all stunt people and actors.
I mean, all of the fighting took place at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
Shit, one of the places that they fought, the underground subway tunnel, was in the movie Beverly Hills Cop 3.
You was mad you saw that?
Yeah, I was. I was so upset. I was like, wait a minute, WNBC Masters.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Listen, you got to use them sets, man. They good for nothing.
Right.
Got to get some play off of this.
Right. They like, and here you had the set. They're like, all right, action. Like, what's going on?
I remember taking a trip to Florida. Like, that actual, like, studio was, like, right across the street from where they were shooting WCW, like, Saturday night. It was, like, it was, like, on the same lot, like, literally, like, right across the street. Like, so this is fake as wrestling. So disappointed. so disappointed.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna, like, WMAC Masters had me in a chokehold because of that and watching Bruce Lee movies. I had a short stint lived in karate.
Because that was like the stamp right on our like Saturday morning cartoons was like the martial arts theater that would come on at like 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the teenage live shows like before it's Saved by the Bell, of course, but then what about
California Dream and stuff like that.
Yeah, and City Guys.
City Guys.
And American High.
That's the one that had Wesley Jonathan. Or
yep.
Something in
Yeah, City Guys was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love City Guys. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. I used to watch the shit religiously.
I watched it constantly though. Like,
I guess
I watched all of it constantly. Like,
it's because it was on TV.
It was on TV, and it felt like it was for me. And I'm like, I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah, because I don't know why I stuck to American High as religiously as I did. City Guys, I think Saved by the Bell, especially when they would start from the very beginning when they was in middle school.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, when did this happen?
Bliss days.
Yeah. So yeah, all those are good. Well, they were good shows. I can't say they are, but they were good.
They're good for my purposes, right? Just nostalgia.
Yeah.
You know they're trash.
Yeah, I mean they are definitely supplanted in the time that they were made.
Time capsules, 100%. Like stuff that you watch Saved by the Bell, and it's hilarious what they got away with, and I'm like, this is the corniest thing ever. I love it.
They can only be in the time frame in which they were made.
Absolutely.
Have any of you gone back to rewatch any seasons of certain things like that were like you don't know why you liked it after the fact, or something you were very like a diehard fan of?
Yeah, for sure. Like Boy Meets World.
Okay.
100%. Like when I saw it on Disney Plus, I'm like, let me watch a couple episodes of this.
Mm-hmm.
Better writing than I realized.
Very
So
emotional.
It was very relevant to me as a kid because I was literally about the same age as them growing up.
Right,
it was
right.
like a couple years ahead of me. But I can relate to all the stories. But as an adult, you realize, the writing was great for the parents, too. The parents are hilarious. Like,
right, yeah.
You also see how deep Feeney was. You're like, this is a brilliant show. Like, this it wasn't just pandering to kids. It was actually, like, in our minds.
I felt it was very teachable show.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just recently finished watching Reboot. Fucking love Reboot.
Yeah, I like Reboot a lot.
What is Reboot?
Get out of my house.
What is Reboot?
Get out of my house. You gotta go.
I will show you the trailer, but give them a breakdown what Reboot is.
So Reboot is a show about what goes on in your computer.
Okay.
So it was, one of the, I think it was the first CG
3D
animated TV series, and it's
Oh, you mean I remember that. I remember that show. You actually watched that like recently?
yeah.
Wow. So you went way back.
Yeah, it's like 96, 97.
Oh, it's
I remember the animation because it was so cool to me at the time.
Yeah.
oh
I
yeah.
can't imagine watching it now.
It's terrible. The animation is horrible.
But at the time, it was brilliant.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was the first show that ever did it.
Right,
But yeah, I have it. It's in 720p, and it is the ugliest shit in the world.
Really?
I still love the show, but it is so ugly. It's so ugly.
Dang. I didn't even remember the name of that show. I just remember the characters.
Bob.
What it looked like.
Bob, Enzo,
So-
Hexadecimal, Megabyte.
Hexadecimal. I do remember that.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Bringing back memories now.
I think the last thing I may have watched, well, not the last thing I watched, but like I know I finished it from beginning to end was Beast Wars.
Beast Wars.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got that too.
That was great.
That's tough to watch too because that animation is nothing like it was back then.
Yeah.
that definitely is tough to watch on the same level as Reboot.
Yeah.
I can imagine. I've also done Batman animated series since HBO Max came out and had it on there.
Oh yeah.
So I do watch that. I watch a couple episodes probably every month. I probably just have a day where I'm just working it in the background. It's just on. Still good.
Yeah, it's
Still good. It holds up really well.
It does, yeah. Surprisingly, it does. And Superman's not that bad either.
Yeah, that was a good era for like DC animation, right? It's the DC animated universe we have now. But like Justice League, the Superman series, they were all pretty good.
Yeah, Justice League Unlimited
Unlimited,
is definitely up there, top tier.
That was the one.
Acting and just storytelling as well.
Yeah, they got the voices right, 100%.
Yeah. So, well, that kind of segue into, 3 cartoons, whether it's 80s, 90s, 2000s, that you hated.
See, and for this topic, I had to go with ones that I religiously watched that I didn't even like then, and I don't like now. I got 3 words for you: Action Extreme Team. You probably don't even know what that is, but you will when I explain it.
Go ahead.
USA's Saturday morning cartoon lineup.
Oh!
Street Fighter,
I'm about to say,
Mortal Kombat, Savage
He's
Dragon,
talking about all them bad like video game cartoons.
Double Dragon.
The moment he said
They
that, I
were-
was like, oh,
they
he's talking
were
about Double Dragon.
ridiculously horrible.
Yes, my brother. Yes.
They took all of the action and the fighting out of shows that are supposed to have fighting in
all
it.
of the sexy out of the video game that you love. They took it all out.
Action Extreme
They
Team
watered it
for
down.
USA.
I'm mad that was a title of it, the block?
Yeah, that's what
And
they called it. They
that
called
was
it the
title
Action
of the
Extreme
block.
Team.
And it was that era, right, when they were like campaigning for like them to take the violence out of stuff.
Okay,
you remember
yeah.
like the second season of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when
Yeah.
they stopped using their weapons and stuff?
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that.
They started like hitting people with sausages. This block came around that time,
Yep.
so you had all your favorite fighting video games basically as cartoons
Right.
with very minimal violence.
No one used
I do-
weapons. Mortal Kombat. No fatalities. No killing. Nothing.
'Cause
It's
it-
so
And
it-
the
good.
same amount of fights that ended in food.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because I can remember watching
You just walk
Spider-Man,
in pizza.
and Spider-Man go throw a punch. They would edit it so that you see him fall, the person fall back.
Yeah.
So it was like, what happened? I recently watched that not too long ago.
Happen. That's what
Yeah.
Karens happen.
And then they complained enough to U.S. senators that they affected the television. So yeah, the Action Extreme Team. So you can pick any 3 cartoons out of that one.
Out of that lineup?
The whole 3.
You can pick any 3 cartoons
You
out of
run your
that.
whole 3 down there.
Yeah,
He said all of that.
Wow. The one that comes to my mind right now, because I was up in the rabbit hole and just looking at everything else besides finishing this up. Mummy Returns.
Oh.
It had like a lot of promise. It seemed like it did, but it just fell flat.
It was disappointing because I love those movies.
Yeah.
And that was
Oh no, I'm not sorry. Was it Mummy Returns? Is it Mummy's Alive?
Mummy's Alive.
Mummy's
I was
Alive.
talking
Alive.
about.
I'm sorry.
Like
Yeah.
toys.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
the mummies and then they transformed
Yeah.
with the suits of armor.
That wanted to be cool so bad.
It tried so
It
hard.
tried.
Yeah.
It was
tried
like my
so
pet
hard.
monster type stuff. Like it wasn't great.
It tried so hard.
It tried. That was disappointing.
It was so, and I was into it, and then it's just like, because especially with the Egyptian lore and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to
It
that.
had immense potential. It said F that potential.
Yeah. It's just like
Threw it right out the window.
because like you said, like it seems like when the toys don't support the show, then they kind of forgive up on everything else.
And that's the era where they really created shows to sell the toys.
Yeah.
Like the toys was not a product of the show; it was the other way around. Crazy.
Go and get one of yours.
So in that same vein of like cartoons created because of toys, so the original He-Man was like one of my favorite TV shows as a kid, and they tried to reboot it. The New Adventures of He-Man in '93.
Oh yeah! Oh my God!
They gave him these
so
blue leggings. Right?
Yep, it's so bad.
And he had a belt across his chest, and he had a ponytail.
It was so bad.
They took him from the bob cut from the '80s that was bad anyway, and gave him a little sassy ponytail. And my 8-year-old self cannot process it. I was like, "What are you doing to He-Man?"
Yeah. I remember when that came out, I was like, like 10 years old, and I was like, this is not He-Man.
I'm like, this is not my master of the universe. This is not him. He can't be Skeletor, ain't no way.
No, that was such a bad rebrand.
Was one of the cartoons I hated. He already gave his. He might as well go.
Right. Yeah.
I'm thinking about it because Mummy's alive. You said He-Man.
He-Man. Even the song was whack.
Yeah.
That was bad.
I got way more too, but yeah.
Because we can run them down.
Yeah, it's like, because if you can't MC Hammer.
Ooh.
Hammer Man.
Back to the Future.
Yo.
All of the movies based off those shows.
First of all, they gave Marty McFly they put him on the spectrum. He was not the Marty from the movies, right?
He wasn't.
He was not. That made no sense.
And that movie, I think, because I don't think the third one came out just yet, but like the first two was really good movies.
Yeah. And
I was excited to see that the show and everything, but it wasn't funny. It wasn't doing nothing fun.
And it changed the characterizations of like everybody. It just didn't make sense. That's
one thing I always hated when like they ever did a movie into a cartoon and it wasn't the same as the movie or vice versa. Like I got my first one. But yeah. It just didn't ever come to life in that same way.
Yeah.
That's how all of them went. The Mask, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
That's actually I never seen it.
Go get into it. Just go.
Let's go.
Listen, I was like a fan of the movie. And I'm like, they're doing a cartoon. That's going to be hilarious. It was not hilarious. It was anything but. They tried way too hard to like mimic Jim Carrey without Jim Carrey.
Exactly.
So it felt like an overextended impersonation, and the comedy was horrible. And I was like 11, and it was like, this is not for me.
Yeah, I felt like that was like the first show I probably took offense to as a kid, like because it was like this is not good. This is not what I thought it was going to be. Because The Mask is like I don't know. I haven't watched it in years, but Jim Carrey was in his bag during those movies. Like you couldn't tell anybody nothing about him. Whether it be over the top or just slapstick silly.
Yeah, it was his season, and I feel like the Mask cartoon did a better job translating the movie energy. Also, that movie was more cartoonish, right? Yeah. So it kind of fit the medium. It made sense to do a cartoon of that.
Yeah, because it was
Ace Ventura, not so much.
I don't know why that was a cartoon. I knew I avoided that at all
costs. The Mask.
Yeah,
I avoided that at all costs.
Just money. Reason for everything.
Right. That's what we were trying to shoot for. Like, just give us some money so we make a show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like why not? You WBO, they're blowing millions. Make through millions at a movie they're not even gonna put out.
I'm so mad about it. Which one are we talking about? Batgirl, Batman Beyond.
They're
canceling everything right now. Wonder Woman 3. Which one are we talking about?
No, nobody cares about Wonder Woman 3.
Wonder Woman 2, man.
Yeah, Wonder Woman 84.
Conversation for another day.
Right.
Good Lord.
But that was just terrible. But I'm gonna go with my first one, and I meant to look at the name of it. I think I found it one year, but I forgot it. But do you remember a cartoon where it was 3 kids, 2 were white, 1 was black? You know I'm about to go with this.
One turned into a car.
This black kid turned into a car. They were driving away to solve mysteries. If that wasn't the most racist shit.
What was the name of that cartoon?
I think I found it. I think I found it one day.
I was just young and was very disturbed by it even then.
Yeah, the one kid.
There was a what the hell in my spirit that was so strong. Like
the ancestors were talking to you.
Yes,
because it was definitely
am I watching, bro.
It was so like this is not right. Like they would whenever they had to do something, it's like his name not Tyrone, but Tyrone turn to the coupe. You got it.
Man, you said a coupe.
That's what it was. It was two-door. It was like a two-door Ferrari.
It was a two-door.
It was a two-door Ferrari, and he turned it to. And the thing I think creeped me out the most about it was every segment of him turning to the car. The arms was adorable.
Yeah. I mean, they painstakingly animated that.
Yeah, man.
I was just like,
it was what they spent the most money on.
Yeah.
Clearly, they took their time.
I was just
It was like
like
a highlight of the show.
I was just like, this can't be right.
It
But
was their Megazord watching the black kid turn into a car.
and they just ride around, go solve a mystery, or go through a drive-through. It is just like
Allegory for America, man. White people riding a black man to get to where they need to go.
It says, man, hey, it could have been a very intelligent cartoon if that was the subcontext that they were trying to get at.
It could have been.
no.
It could have just been incredibly racist.
I know that call. I was nothing but what 7 or 8 when that would come on, and it didn't last long because it was like one of those shows they would just kept like showing the same few episodes. It was like kind of phasing out until they got something new to come on. But when I caught it, I was like, you know what?
Couldn't believe it.
Y'all ain't shit.
No, not at all.
Not a little bit.
Not at all.
So well, I guess that leads into our next topic here is thoughts on black representation in cartoons and 90s TV shows growing up. So I'll let you start us off with that.
Man, you know that's always like a stressful like topic for me, right? So you follow me on Instagram, so I know you saw the post I posted recently about how all the black characters were drawn the same.
Yeah, it was. I was thinking about that on the ride here too. So you got started from like the youngest growing to the oldest. So it was
the black kid from Recess.
Yeah, Vince.
It was.
No! It was the kid from Magic School Bus.
Oh right, the kid from Magic School Bus, right?
Yeah. Then Vince from Recess.
Yep.
And then it was the Black Planeteer from Captain Planet. Look it up. They the same person.
I mean, the Planeteer from Captain Planet, he had kind of a fade.
All of them had a fade.
They did have fades. Yeah,
they all had the same fade.
Well, you know, that was 90s style though, and that's what black people wore in the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
So you mean
maybe it's not stereotypical.
They also all athletes.
maybe it's not stereotypical. Maybe it was just a style of the time.
Just kept a basketball in his hand, right?
Yeah, he got a basketball.
His permanent wardrobe was a jersey.
So maybe it was just a style.
The Planeteer had a jersey on, didn't he?
No,
they all had the Planeteer outfit.
Okay,
the shirt, and he had the vest.
Right.
They all look like Gap employees.
Essentially, yes. in the cargo shorts.
Basically. Yeah, he had that like Hollywood African accent.
Oh, he
like
sounded
the whole Wakandan accent.
right. Not even a good one.
Not even a good because most of the Wakandan ones are great ones.
No, but yeah, he definitely had a strong accent. He was just doing too much for that show.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But most of the representation in the 90s for black characters, they were always stereotypically like, you know, a little hood, always had the slang terms, normally had on like a baseball cap at some time, normally either backwards or way down in their face where you couldn't see their eyes.
Yeah.
Because black people was hip-hop.
Yeah, we represented hip-hop and rap in all situations.
We are a monolith.
But we had a couple goats, right? One we mentioned earlier was Jarron from Hey Arnold and Susie Carmichael. They were probably like two of the like black goats for
Hey, I would say at the very least with American cartoons, they tried. Because I used to watch anime in the 90s, and we know what black people look like in anime in the 90s. Like, black as hell, big ass pink lips.
How about really black? With the whitest eyes and pinkest lips.
So we knew what black people in anime looked like in the 90s. At the very least, America tried.
They tried to get a little more flavor. And so, yeah, it just, when you look like...
Everybody was the same color.
Yeah.
Like, they literally painted every black person the exact same shade. Like, it wasn't shades of black people. Everyone was just that same brown.
That same brown. That's why, like, when you look at the Boondocks, everybody's different shades.
Yep.
And you know, it's a newer cartoon. I think probably representation wasn't as important as it was when it first came on. But looking at it now, it's like, oh, you know what? They got a little light skinned girl. They got Tom.
Yeah.
They got Grandpa. They all black, but they just different. Ruckus is black. So, you
I
know.
mean, again, the idea at least said
gotta
representation
make
was said in the 90s, representation was important up to a point. They had to have at least one black person there.
They tried. Like, they met their quota. They got
Exactly.
one nigga on deck.
They had at least one black person. That was it. It didn't make, they didn't really have to go into all of the diversity of the black population. Just have one.
I guess be a bigger show then.
That was a bare minimum for sure.
Yeah. But now I'm thankful that we see shows like Craig of the Creek.
Yeah.
Where
I don't know what the hell that is.
It's on Cartoon Network.
It's on Cartoon Network.
It's the only black show out right now.
Black show. It was some controversy because like apparently it's created by like 2 white writers or something like that.
That's generally the case.
It's a pretty cool show though.
But I think the whole cast, I believe, mostly the whole cast is black.
Yeah, it is. But it's a pretty cool show. Getting towards the late 90s into like the early 2000s, we got more like representation. That's like the Proud Family, stuff like Fillmore, things like that. So I
like Fillmore a lot. I don't think that gets enough credit.
Fillmore
I'm waiting for that comeback on Disney Plus.
Yeah, Fillmore was dope actually. Like my man was a hall monitor, but he took that joint seriously. Like he was a real detective. And it was such a funny concept.
Yeah, it was a really good, a funny concept, and it's probably one of Orlando Brown's. That's his last name, right? Orlando Brown's one of his better performances. Yeah. Before the Demons got him. Yeah, absolutely. Look, you have a good time. Look at his interviews on YouTube.
Yo.
I probably should.
But you really should. You really should.
He is that coke will do it to you.
I tell you what,
and fame.
That coconut Raven Simone, man, will mess you up. That bop will get you every time.
Right.
We watched that one interview, and that was enough for me.
Oh yeah, we sure did. Which one was that one though?
When he talking about, you say you did something with Raven Simone. He's like, I did that.
That's the bop. Right. He was talking. I know we a little off topic, but I gotta say this. He did one interview where he was talking to Dr. Phil, and you could see him progressively get worse in the interview from his high. I don't know if it's coming down or going up. But then he gets to a tangent where he says he's Michael Jackson's son.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's just like, he has such a promising career.
Yeah.
And then it went all downhill from there.
For sure.
I think one thing I want to touch on about representation is that it's now getting better. I think you're seeing more black writers, creators,
absolutely,
authors, and different areas of entertainment is being more. It's coming more to light, especially with social media. Like I found quite a few black comic book authors. So they got their comic books that are coming out and things like that. So
these producers are starting to realize that America is becoming far more diverse. So now they're having more diverse writing and creative rooms. So kudos to at least understanding that that's how you're going to keep making money
after 150 years. Finally got it.
Yeah, as classic as Superman is, Superman's a great story, but what about the other spectrums of representation? And, those people telling those type of superhero stories, or it's not just that. So, we got a lot of different stuff coming up as far as just like different shows that I think are appealing more to the masses and things like that. Like you look at you watch Invincible.
Yes.
How they tweet little things here and there to broaden the show overall. Because in the comics, I think the main character he's straight up white. He is okay.
Yeah, he is Asian, but I think they changed one of his girlfriends or something to like a black girl.
They did,
that. Like they do make some strides to make some more diverse choices, even in like some of the television shows. I remember they did Supergirl, and I think they made Jimmy Olsen black.
Yeah.
They made some decisions.
I wasn't mad about the fact that Jimmy Olsen was black in that. I was mad about the fact that Jimmy Olsen was this sexy, flexy ass model.
Yo. They definitely got to stand there for the Rock.
Like, what is this? Why is Jimmy Olsen got a 6-pack and a goddamn V on the goddamn
Because
face?
he ended up being like the Guardian, right, in the show? When he was like a superhero?
I actually never kept up with it.
I didn't either.
I watched the first couple episodes. I'm like, Supergirl's kind of hot. Let me watch a couple episodes.
Yeah, she not, good looking.
It just didn't keep my interest.
Oh yeah, the first episode turned me off. It was trash.
Yeah, and CW shows really upset me. They start off well and they become trash pretty quickly. Like The Flash was great for a couple seasons until you realize it's going to be the same storyline every season.
Yeah, I was with you. I was with it for the 2 seasons. I was in it.
You realize it's going to be the same story. Oh my god, it's a new speedster. Birds got to get faster.
I figured that out after 4 episodes and stopped watching.
I was trying to get him on for the longest time.
Arrow also became trash. He started telling everybody his identity.
I was so mad with Arrow because the fact that he had paint on his, covering his face in the first season, I believe.
Yeah.
And when I saw one episode, they're like, we don't know who he is. We can't figure out who he is. What's he doing? How's he getting his weaponry? He has paint on his face, dog. Like, why? How you tell me you can't see that's him?
Yeah.
And the only thing that made me
Get
watch...
on topic.
I gotta say this part. The only thing that kept me interested, kept me in the flash was that when they would look at him, he said he would vibrate.
Yeah.
Stupid reason, but at least that made more sense than paint on your face.
Let's get back on topic.
Hilarious.
Or we're going to be here all night. Last thing.
CW sucks.
Yeah, all the shows are gone now. All the shows are gone. You're welcome.
I try.
I do what I can when I can do it.
So, lastly, what show would you want to see a reboot? Cartoon, live action, from back in the day?
For me, that's easy. A Different World. A Different World was a great black show, and I felt like they ended it like right when they could have went to some even more in-depth topics.
Mm-hmm.
They had like a new crop of like cast members that were actually working.
Right, yeah.
It was like, y'all keep the story going. And they cut it short. I think that could actually like do a reboot for sure, because one is a new appreciation for it, where everyone is older now, they done graduated college, and they like, yo, I love this show.
Yeah.
I wish we had more of it. So I think there's audience for it, and it's also just good representation, right? Just black professionals. It was one of the first shows. We were doing a nice black renaissance during that time, with shows like Living Single, shows like Martin Fresh Prince, of actually well-to-do, hardworking black people on screen. You know?
Right, and successful, not struggling.
Yeah, but then, you see the real lives of the characters behind it. Cosby.
I don't know who that man is.
Never seen that man day for my life.
Never heard of that guy. We're talking about the Dave Hardison.
Just bring back them.
About Glenn Turman. I don't know nothing about
Because we know Different World was a spinoff.
spinoff
of nothing.
of like something that we're not going to talk about. But yeah, A Different World definitely what I would love to see as a reboot.
Stefan?
For me, if I, just my wish list, I would love to see a reboot of Gargoyles.
I think it's in the works quietly.
I recall that they were supposed to be, but
Oh, you know what? They got a comic book out.
yeah,
They have a comic book out of Gargoyles, so that's kind of it's
not quite the same.
no, it's not the same, but it's like hopefully that is successful. It will lead into a show.
Do it while Keith David is alive.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
gotta hop on that.
Yeah, I mean, he has to be the voice of Goliath. I don't care about anybody else, but he has to be the voice of Goliath.
Yeah.
So Gargoyles for me. Come on, man. You the one who wrote all the
I know I
questions.
wrote this stuff down. I went down the wrong rabbit hole of some other stuff last night. It was PG. It's PG. I want nobody thinking I'll be looking at Pornhub all night.
We know what you do on your time off, sir.
Somebody check the Twitter account.
Look at the search history.
See what that search history was like.
Dirty. I'm gonna say G.I. Joe, and the reason why is that I'm a big fan of the old cartoon, but I would just like them to do a more serious take on it. They had done before. They had before. No, you know what? Scratch that.
Yeah,
Thundercats. I need a new Thundercats. They left me hanging with the one in 2011. I need a new one.
Yeah, but okay, I can do Thundercats. Can't do G.I. Joe. We already got enough, U.S. military propaganda. U.S. military propaganda.
Yeah. Thundercats though, it can't seem to get it right though in terms of the way that hooks this like generation's attention.
Yeah, because I think I was very surprised at how good Voltron was.
That was good.
And it went for 8 seasons, and just how they went all out with that, and they brought back. I think they did like a Thundercats Go. Was that what it's called?
Yeah,
It was short lived.
because it was terrible.
Real
I
short
remember like
lived.
seeing scenes for it and being like, I'm not watching that.
Yeah,
it's-
it was pretty much they had that same look of the Teen Titans Go.
Right, which
The
also
very
was like
chibi,
not
minimalist drawing. Yeah,
But see,
nah, fucking
Teen
terrible.
Titans Go, I almost because
Shut up, because you're about to try to justify that show, and I will not let you
I
have
ain't
it.
gonna justify the show. I did watch the movie with my little cousin though, and I was cracking up at the movie. The movie was funny.
The movie's decent. I like the show because the twins, my twins, they watched that, and since the show's been on, that's like their cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
So I've grown with the show with
So they don't
them.
even know about the original Teen Titans. It's like Teen Titans Go for them.
That's all they know. And then when we go to the store or Halloween come around, it's like I'm gonna be Raven, I'm gonna be Cyborg, I'm gonna be Robin, or they going outside and they playing that kind of same we were playing Power Rangers games. So yeah, I wanted like a real good Thundercats reboot. If we could, I think the actor that played Panthro. Panthro, he died, but I mean, somebody
Also the father in the Cosby Show, right?
was he? Yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm.
He was. Yeah. So, but yeah, just like I'm a big Thundercat fan. So I need that. Yeah. Have we got a list of topics?
Yep, I think that was it.
Okay.
You covered everything.
Yeah, maybe I don't know.
How much time we running on? I know you're gonna be mad at me about that.
Oh, you already know.
Oh yeah, you got the time mode here.
we try to keep between like good sweet between 30 to 45 minutes. Anything else, he give me the nudge.
Right,
So-
all right, man.
Right.
we don't talk enough, goddammit.
So
in other words, get out my house, man. We just take this
so thank you, Zeb, for coming out.
Oh, sure.
Joining for the conversation.
A lot of fun.
Really appreciate it. Real quick, could you share the memory you have of me when we talked upstairs about the Power Rangers and all that? I got to put that on my Instagram page.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So Jarron was one of the kids in the neighborhood that we knew as the person with the good toys, right? He had all of the best toys. It's like Power Rangers came out, they basically debuted the White Ranger, and we were all excited about it. And I feel like 2 hours later, Jarron had the White Ranger sword. We were trying to figure out how he got it that fast. Like maybe a week tops. He had the sword. We was like, how did Jarron get the toy that fast? Because he always had the best toys, man. He also was basically like the only kid because his brother was so much older than him.
Yeah.
Only child, privileged ass, only
he
child.
had the toys for sure.
Yeah.
But basically what we did was play Power Rangers every day until, like he said earlier, like we just knew. We had like an internal clock. It's time for Power Rangers, and we just run in the house and play.
Yeah, because I can remember I had the saber sword, I had the dragon dagger, I had like the morphing gun, I had the morpher. Why you look at me like that? I didn't take it back.
He had all the best toys.
I had the Ghostbuster Power Pack and the trap.
He had all the best toys, like 100%.
You look at me like I'm spoiled or something.
I grew up poor.
I
Thank
don't
you
even
very
know.
much.
I don't know where he found these toys, right? Because we couldn't find them in KB. We couldn't find them in Toys R Us.
You people got to go to those places? Show's over.
I'm sick of this.
You should have came around the block more when you was younger.
Should have been on Northgate, man.
Right. So, but before we wrap it up, anything you want to promote? Anything you got going on?
Where can people follow you?
Yeah, you want us to buy something? Stephon got it.
No, I'm not selling a thing, but you guys can follow me on at Ernest Zeb on Instagram if you like. But nothing to promote, but I'm glad you guys invited me. I had a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming, and we're definitely going to bring you back later in 2023, not like another decade or at the end of the year.
Sometime within the next year, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please.
We probably might do a reunion. Definitely got to get. I know Anthony going to see us be mad because we were trying to get him on for the longest time. So we got to do.
Wait, no, like, come on. He loves this stuff.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
So
every time I called him and invited him to the show, it was because he doesn't have a schedule when we do these things. He just kind of says, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm not doing
that
anything."
is a schedule. I reached out to you first and said,
Right.
what's your schedule?"
Right.
And I wasn't like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I really don't do too much because of my dialysis.
Yeah.
But you said Monday or Wednesday, I'm like, well, shoot, let's just do it Monday then.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what you doing?
So
nothing.
I reach out to Anthony and say, "We're doing the show this day." He's like, "Oh, damn, I'm busy." Because he doesn't have a schedule when
the schedule is when you are available.
When you are available. So is Anthony never available?
He wasn't available the one time we was going to do.
the few times for the episode that we were going to bring him on.
Yeah. So, but we got to bring what? Him, Brian, Tiffany.
Yo, that would be a lot of fun.
That would be funny as hell.
Because these are conversations me, Brian, and Tiffany have like all the time. So it would be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, we've reached the time limit, so I'm gonna cut these people off.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Like, comment, share, subscribe.
So, and that's the show. As always, you can check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Peace out.
Peace.